What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Guitar Corner. I am in a low-key mode today because, well, first of all, I got this little thing. I want to start playing some of these outside. I got a little battery-powered Miracle, but it has been raining in the Enchanted Forest for 100 days, 100 nights. I know, shout out to my neighbors, man. The Morrises, Craig and Donna, Sherry and Tim. I think we're all, it's just like, it's like a tidal wave every day. But everybody's good. Everybody's safe and sound. My wife and I are going. This is our first time in a couple years on a little vacation together. We're going to Charleston, and we're going to Savannah for a couple days. So we're so excited. I've been there with the band before, but you see the back of the club is a wall of black spray paint and Motel 6, and you're out. So this is our chance to kind of. I like nerdy touristy things. I'm the guy that actually reads like the little monument, like back in 1872. So it's gonna be fun. All right, here's what I want to talk about today, and then man, the show and tell today is heavy, so get ready. This is the Brent Mason Tele. Now, this is not the official Brent Mason Tele. This is when you have incredible friends who are too kind to you. My man Jim Wilcox, I met him through a company called Star Polish back in the day in New York. They managed the band for a while, and a couple records, couple tours. But Jim and I we've remained, friends over the years, and he built this guitar for me, gave it to me. We played in Nyack, New Jersey at a high school there where his son was going, and he brought this thing out, and the band, the whole drive, were just like, how's somebody just giving you a custom-made guitar? I am such a lucky man. So I'm finally in a place where I want to break this thing out today. I'm gonna play you we'll do a little Nashville picking. This thing's incredible. It's got like a million sounds in it because of the pickup configuration. But I'm just sticking with this nice kind of that little round sound. We're gonna use some of these licks. I'm gonna steal that John Mayer lick one more time, and then we're gonna do a little slide thing. What else can we put in there? Oh, I always like this one. Say so maybe like any octave. That's just like it's like Iron Maiden, man. What do you say? You learned that when I was little. You're just basically hitting a note and going to open string. But you could do that on this Nashville stuff all day. Yeah. So let's try some of that stuff. Let's we'll do some 12-bar blues. For those of you who are more the beginning or intermediate players, you know your 12-bar blues. E, A, so you're laying on E for a while. 4, then 2 on A, 2 on E. The turnaround is B, but I always play the Hendrix, flat 5, sharp 9, back to A, back to E, and then back to that, or the Hendrix version. So let's build a little loop together, and we'll see what we can get to happen on the Brent Mason Tele. Get that train, baby. 13ths. So I think we used most of that stuff. We got the double stops. We've talked about those before. I'm on 12 and 12, 14, 14. And then just move those suckers. The tricky part is when you get in if you're doing a pull-off, we talked about those I think a lesson or two ago. You go. Now you got to do two of them at the same time, beautiful people. Just got to get your hands strong, get those calluses on there. If you're a newer player, that's the whole trick. Is just sit there with that metronome. I used to just watch TV as a kid and just keep going until you can, and just get those calluses going. But you'll need them on these double stops. I'm just going down. I'm going grab the root note, the E, and then just get. I'm hitting the pickup too hard. But just get a little bit of muting there. I gotta get used to that pickup being right in the middle there, man. My placement is terrible. And then the other little trick was that 5/7, and then up. Say that's the rock and roll tuning, man. We're a little bit off. You're just 2 verses and 1 chorus shy from a hit song, baby. You go. And that's 14, 15. Love that nasty third. Just a lot of that twang. And whatever you got, you can once you get those shapes, you can move it all down the board. So if I was here, get it. So yeah, that is all pentatonic, but I'm playing with the little minor, the little 2. We got then. And then you can even, you want to get real nasty, do the same thing right here. That way you got it. So you're taking the pentatonic scale, we got a lot of passing tones. And you can get real crazy once you get used to that 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15. Hammering on, tag that 12, and then tag the 14. Always remind them of that root note for a second. If you remind them of that root note, then those nasty flat 5s and those tritones don't freak them out too bad. You know what else we forgot to do in there, man? Was some. That's all the same scale right there, down low. Hopefully, you got some fun licks in there to choose from and to grab. And hopefully, even if you're, I know you advanced players like, man, I got all this. I'll tell you, if you really want to get wild, and I haven't gone down this rabbit hole enough. Was lucky enough to play some jazz stuff when I was younger. But I stole this from a man, Tim Izzo. It was Tim Orengreff back at North High School. Ended up playing with the Peas and all kinds of touring acts. Incredible. But he was playing the saxophone when he was 16, like he'd been 400 years old. And he was always doing these alternating fourths. So for you advanced players, I'm going to give you one real crazy one. If you move up, especially when you're on the 5, that's when the most tension's happening. Because if you're on that 5 chord, everybody feels it. You don't have to understand the theory or anything to feel that. Every person, you get a baby, you play that 5 right, and little baby's like, ooh, nasty. And then you know you got to come back to the 1. So when you get to that 5 chord, you can get away with murder. Those passing tones, when I say passing tones, just notes in between the normal scale, you can slide up to anything. So right there, that's bad, right? You're like, you got to like, ooh, nasty, because that's, now we're back to a harmonic minor. No, but if you were sliding off that, but if you land on it, you're in a different place. Well, think about this. On these alternating 4s, here's the lick. You slide it to your 14th on the 5th string, and then make this shape. Like a little diminished shape. Go. Now slide down 1. Oh, we get nasty now. Come down in the same shape. Now slide down there. Come down in the same shape. Slide the top. Slide the bottom. Slide the top. I stole that off of Timmy when he was playing his saxophone at North High School, man. He said, I think I stole it off him, but man, so I worked that little thing there. So yeah, you will play some of the outside chords, or my man Carter, out of town chords. You work those diminished chords over that fifth. And yeah, and if you got something real crazy, man, upload a little video. I want to see kind of how you're playing on that five, because that's one of the things about the Nashville players, and I don't even touch them. I mean, I don't even touch them, man. I'm sitting around making these ambient guitar records and doing my sad, Latin vampire rock and roll songs for the tour. But it's so fun to play this stuff, and the people who the players here in Nashville, I mean, the guitar, you throw a rock in Nashville, you're gonna hit an amazing guitar player. Probably the baddest dude ever is Tom Bukovac. If anybody's, I'm sure a lot of you, if anybody's checking here or saw this on any other guitar, if it came up, next to another guitar video, I hope you've already checked out Tom Bukovac, because that dude he has sold his soul. Seems like the kindest guy in the world, but he's like an alien. But I tell you, if you're working on this Nashville stuff, there's a lot of time. You got to stay really loose. I mean, especially in up-tempo things. If you're gonna, do a lot of that 16th picking, it's like not a lot of movement. One of the things that I love moving around on stage and trying to see the very back row and all this. Man, when you're playing that kind of stuff, there's a reason there's a reason Chet Atkins was standing real still when he was playing, because man, you go on, especially if you're moving real fast, man, you got to get that accuracy. You gotta really stay in your seat. Or as Millstone said, don't get ahead of your skis. All right, folks, I'm gonna do a quick little show. We at 12 minutes, my lord. I'm gonna do a quick little show and tell here. Yesterday, the pod got here with my pop stuff. My dad passed away a couple years ago, and when he had gone out to Arizona to take care of my grandparents back in the day, he actually ended up staying there, and nobody ever really went through my grandparents' stuff either. Long story short, man, there was just, they weren't real. There wasn't a whole lot of nostalgia there, and my dad was wonderful, but he didn't look back. It wasn't like, I took all these pictures or any of that stuff. So we just had to pack everything up and get out of there. And you know how it is when you're going through that stuff. Grieving comes in different stages. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait. Man, I got some of those boxes. If I turned around, the whole back of this library just filled with his books and some of his stuff. But I found some of the coolest things, and I found out that I'm not the only merch whore with my little red dolls and everything else. They had a trucking company back in the day in Detroit, Michigan, called Whitaker and Gooding. Man, look at this old school, like 50 stuff my grandfather had, presenting New View. This says, the modern eye-saving concentration in playing cards, courtesy of Whitaker and Gooding. They had little money clips. Man, I found all this old cool family stuff. So I'm having a good time going through that. It's a trip because the boxes still smell like my grandfather's old place, and then my dad smoking all those years. It's just such a trip. So my wife's incredible. We're moving all this stuff out of the pod, and I'm telling her all these silly stories. But I did find some old mini cassettes. And my dad's brother, he passed away in the 90s, but my man, Uncle Tommy, he had a tape going from Detroit to Los Angeles, and he taped his the entire trip, even going into space museums and Indiana and all this stuff. So he's got all these old cool, it's like time travel to hear those old tapes. So the next record that's coming out is, I think, called Brand New Ghost, and I use some of those samples in it. But yeah, so, I'll be hopefully be showing you some cool, wild stuff from 50s, 60s, 70s Detroit here as I'm playing along. But yeah, we're going to break out this new Magic Yamaha next time. We'll get in the yard and do some stuff. Let me know what you learned, what you want to hear. Wade, the metal video is coming. I saw Rack using my wife, we call her Rack Daniels, because one time she drank too much and passed out in the van with cymbals all around her outside the Viper room, and Billy Driver came out there and said, Rack Daniels. Billy just smoking his e-cig. Hardly says anything all night, but when he does, it kills. My wife doesn't even drink that much. I tell everybody to call her Rack Daniels. But Rakai's using a blowtorch out there. So I figure on Metal Day, I got to get her in here and, pretend we're Gene and Paul and get some fire for you. All right, this one's been all over the map, but I hope you picked up some licks off of here. I love y'all. I'll see you after I get back from Savannah, Georgia and Charleston. 10-4. Everybody be safe out there.